So, good afternoon, good morning, good day, and happy Friday, everyone. I am Hope White, and welcome to No Bullshipping with Hope White on this Good Friday. I am so happy and excited. This is the first episode partnership with Let's Talk Supply Chain. So glad to be here. Today, I have a very, very special guest. But before we get to her, let me introduce myself. I am the CEO and founder of HD White Logistics. We are a third-party logistics provider out of Meta, Georgia, where we do container storage and support the Georgia Port Authority. So today's first episode is going to just be a long, lengthy line of episodes to come of upbeat conversations about the supply chain genre we're in right now and everything that's happening with it. It's going to be raw and uncut, in my opinion. So without further ado, I want to introduce our first guest. This guest is someone that I met about 5 years ago. She is the Economic Development Authority Director for Candler County in Candler County, Georgia. She and I have become business partners and since then kind of close friends. So I want to introduce my first guest. Her name is Miss Hannah Mullins. Hannah.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Oh, thank you so much for coming, Hannah. I really appreciate you being, I guess, my first person on the fire, my first guest. I really appreciate it. So if you would introduce yourself, tell me who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Hannah Mullins, and I live in Metter, Georgia, in Candler County, and I run the industrial authority here for the county. And so my job here is to bring in people like you, Hope, that's willing to create jobs and investment in our small but robust community here. Yeah. We sit right on I-16, and we are just right at or a little bit less than an hour from the Georgia Ports Authority and in Savannah. And we are in a great position for businesses like you with logistics and to help with the supply chain issues. And so we love it down here. We love Metter. Everything's better, right? So
definitely everything's better. I got a sign over here on the wall that says exactly that. Everything is better in Metter. Absolutely. Yes. So Hannah, if you don't mind, would you mind telling everyone just how we met, how we came to know each other?
Yes, actually, I've been in Metter I've been in economic development this is going on my 9th year. Probably, let's see, 6 of those, I have been in Metter. I took a little hiatus and moved to a different community up in the northeast part of the state. And that is when I met Hope. And I actually did not work for Candler County when I met Hope. I drove to the other side of the state for a business event for supply chain and logistics. It was a logistics summit, I believe. And I walk into a sea of black suits, and I see this dynamic lady in the room with her red HD White logistics shirt on. And I had to talk to her because anybody wearing red in a sea of black and navy blue suits, I need to know this lady. So, we struck up a conversation, and I just loved talking to her. And I came to find that she was actually there to meet somebody with the Georgia Ports Authority. She came solely for that reason. And prior to that, after years in economic development, I had a great reputation and a great relationship with the Georgia Ports Authority, especially their industrial development representative. And so Hope and I got to know each other a little bit. I had her sit with me at lunch that day and through the presentations, and at the end, introduced her to Stacy Watson, who's the industrial representative for the Ports Authority. And the rest is history. I left them with it. And when I came back to Metter about a year after that, then she came to Metter. So he reconnected us actually,
Mm-hmm.
and which is why we named this project Full Circle when it came in, because we literally came full circle
Yeah.
in more than just that way. So it's
Yeah.
been a great ride.
Absolutely. And I'm so grateful for the courage that I gave myself to step in that space and actually sit next to you, because it actually was a life changing moment that actually has brought HD White Logistics full circle. So thank you so much, Hannah, for being genuine and having that conversation with me that day, because I probably would have never asked you the question that I asked. But let's just dive deep down into what it is exactly what you do in economic development. If you will, just talk to me a little bit about economic development and how supply chain plays a role with economic development um, in your experience.
Okay, well, a little bit about what I do. My job consists of many different multifaceted prongs, but my main goal overall is to create uh, quality jobs
Yeah.
and capital investment for our community. We are a rural community, a small community, but we pack a big punch. We have great infrastructure. We have great water and sewer,
Yeah.
100% broadband coverage, which is an anomaly in rural Georgia these days,
Yeah.
or rural anywhere these days.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we're small. Our population in Candler County is around 11,000, but we pull from hundreds of thousands in workforce from probably at least an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
And so my job is to make my community better
Right.
and create jobs where people can live here, work here, and they can spend their money here. And it makes for a great local economy. And that's overall what my job is here.
Right. Right.
That does dig deeper into lots of different areas.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about supply chain and manufacturers, my job is to keep a close relationship with the Ports Authority.
Mm-hmm.
We are close. I've always had a good relationship with them. I try to stay abreast of what is going on in supply chain. I'm in constant contact with them.
Yeah.
And my job here, for whether they're incoming or existing
Yeah.
manufacturers, distributors, or logistics like you do,
Mm-hmm.
my job is to make sure that your business is flowing as efficiently as I can help with.
Absolutely.
So I kind of serve as a mediator and a support system to help connect.
Yeah.
I want to make connections that help solve problems, create efficiency,
Yeah.
help you grow.
Yeah.
We work closely with incoming clients. Also, we have a manufacturer here that needed to be close to several different distribution warehouses for
Yeah.
their product,
Yeah.
and we were a central location to that. So it's my job to know those things, and if I don't know it, to research it and help you make the best decisions to grow and make your business thrive.
Yeah, yeah. Economic development was definitely a vital role in the growth of HC White Logistics pivot during the pandemic. So it is very important that smaller partners or logistics providers or small business owners understand just where you guys are and what it is you do. So I thank you for explaining that. In the last 2 years, you mentioned the relationship with you and the Georgia Port Authority. In the last 2 years, we've seen an extreme amount of growth with the Georgia Port Authority. How has that growth impacted economic development in your opinion, on Georgia's supply chain as well as economic development? How has that growth helped or impacted us?
Well, it has not come without its challenges, as most of you all know. I think we all are feeling the effects of supply chain issues right now, and we're
Absolutely.
seeing them and we're feeling them.
Yeah.
The growth at the port has been phenomenal. And what they do very well at the Georgia Ports Authority, which I have seen are issues for other ports in the country, they really do a good job of reacting to issues and solving problems
Yeah.
quickly. That
Absolutely.
is one thing that they have a very good reputation for. They do not like bottlenecks. They do not
Absolutely.
like products sitting on their, they don't like their products sitting there on their
No.
yard.
Yeah.
And they work diligently every day to make sure those issues are resolved.
Yeah.
And the growth itself from Savannah is covered up with business. I mean, they are booming. And
Yeah.
so as you get out of Savannah and come up I-16, headed into Macon and then to Atlanta, you have a lot of growth happening that way. There
Yeah.
are lots of warehousing going up. There are lots of opportunities for mega industrial parks
Yeah.
of hundreds of acres.
Yeah.
And we are a little bitty dot on that
Yeah.
map. But
Yeah.
we are waiting, and it will eventually come this way. It already is coming this way because the logistical issues and the traffic and the congestion in Savannah itself
Yeah.
really makes it hard for them to move the freight a lot. So I think that as far as rural Georgia and what Metter is poised for, I believe that we are personally in a really good position, I guess I should say, to handle some of this traffic that wants to get out of some of that congestion because, as you know, really it's not that much farther, and the ease here
Yeah.
of getting on and off
Yeah.
the interstate is much less stressful than it is down there. So
Yeah.
it's definitely impacting us, and I think that our shelves are probably more empty than those in the urban areas.
Let's not talk. Look, we're gonna talk about those store shelves here in just a minute. I mean, good God, going to the grocery store. Like I said before the show, definitely been doing a little panic shopping there, buying a little bit more toilet tissue than I need in my house. Definitely been doing that. Extra bottles of water, absolutely, because the store shelves have definitely seen an impact with the growth of supply chain. But I want to say hi to some of the people that's joining us. I see Rob Johnson joining us from San Diego. Hi, Rob. Thanks for joining. Bruni Calhoun from Coconut Creek, Florida. What's up, Kat? How you doing? Thank you for joining. And then I see Fabi. Thank you for joining us. And then Sarah. Hi, Sarah. Sarah says, impressive, Hannah. She's
Thank you.
She says, keep up the good work. All right. All right. So we talked about the uptick with the Georgia Port Authority. We talked about the growth on the rural communities. Can you talk about maybe some of the, and I guess we'll go into the grocery stores at this point, some of the downfalls of supply chain with the bottleneck, like the impact, maybe how maybe the counties weren't really prepared for this amount of growth, and talk about a little bit of that.
Yeah, I can speak to that because when you're dealing with local politics, it is hard to convince local politicians to prepare for growth.
Yeah.
A lot of what they do is dealing with issues here and now.
Yeah.
And when you start preparing for growth,
Yeah.
you have to spend money.
Yes.
And when you spend money, taxpayers get really uneasy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in these towns like I'm in, especially some of the bigger ones, I mean, I have worked in areas that they have grown so quickly.
Yeah.
They should have been planning 10 years prior to that, you know.
Absolutely.
And I have used that as an example to some of my local leaders because we know it's coming.
Yeah.
And I play the mediator between. I basically play the mediator between you, the business, and I try to shield you from the politics of the local leadership. While they're great, they have a hard job to juggle because they're dealing, you know, they have to answer to taxpayers.
Yeah.
And, you know, they want to do the right thing too. So it's a balance that's not always balanced.
Yeah.
Rarely balanced. But some of these issues, I know we were talking about the shortages on the shelves.
Yeah.
That is definitely an issue. My mother lives in Metro Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, just outside or on the cusp of the Metro.
Yeah.
And I know when I visit up there, they don't have as many shortages as we do in these little towns.
You know what? I went to a Target in McDonough, Georgia, last weekend, and I said, "Now, who the heck know who?" Because Target was full in McDonough.
Yep.
However, comma, semicolon, down
This,
here, baby, they ain't got a potato in sight in the
that's
free.
right. So I'm with you. I don't know who knows who,
Yeah.
but and I don't know that it's really. It makes me wonder too if it's not just the simple fact that, for instance, Candler County, we have we have two grocery stores. One
Yeah.
is a chain grocery store, and
Yeah.
one is a local grocery store, and we also have a much smaller, more focused grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's the fact that they know more people or there are more options to shop there. And, they do have to get more in than
Yeah.
we do. And so you know, all of our 11,000 people, they're going to the same place.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the trick is there, but we're definitely feeling it. I know on the building side of things, as far
Yeah.
as construction,
Mm-hmm.
um, even though our census says we lost a few people, we have had more building permits despite the high prices of building supplies.
Yeah.
We have had more people connect to our broadband because
Yeah.
we have really, really great
Yeah.
broadband here. And so we have seen some growth, and in our neighboring county, state in Bullitt County in
Yeah.
Statesboro, they're experiencing a lot of growth in homes.
Yeah.
But we're still feeling the pain of shortages of windows. And then,
Yeah.
when you get into commercial and industrial growth, you've got the steel shortages,
Yeah.
roofing,
Yeah.
windows.
Yeah.
So we're still feeling the effects, but I will say that even though there's still people building. I
Yeah.
mean, the economy is still
It's still going
flowing
forward.
amazingly well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I don't.
Let's talk about some of the infrastructure. You talked about, smaller counties not necessarily being ready. And I know just from my experience and being here in just a short period of time, we've been here since July of 2020. I've seen the roads double in size. 2 lanes go to four lanes, 6 lanes. And I know it's just to get that traffic steady flowing, not only through I-16, but also inside of the
Mhm.
counties, because a lot of the truckers do take the shortcuts.
Mhm.
Can you talk about some of the incentives that the county or the economic development authority offers for smaller businesses coming in to kind of offset some of those costs?
Well, we work on because we are so small, we don't get a lot of the very large projects
Yeah.
that carry um, hundreds of jobs. I mean, we
Yeah.
would welcome that.
Yeah.
But we do, because of our size,
Mhm.
we have a very good reputation,
Yeah.
and the ability to grow small business and entrepreneurs here.
Yeah.
So a lot of our incentives that we offer, sometimes they're in kind,
Yeah.
as you know, right?
Yes.
Um,
In kind. I love in kind incentive.
Support services. We have, as far as what I do, my connections to global trade with the
Yeah.
state of Georgia,
Yeah.
the Department of Economic Development, the Ports Authority. I'm able to make connections depending on the size of the capital investment and the job creation,
Mhm.
and not just the job creation, but the wages that are being paid on those. Being so rural, we have to be careful about that. Our expectations are not really high, but we do have high expectations for good quality jobs that pay for head of household incomes.
Yeah.
And I will say that depending on the level of investment and job creation, that really we create individualized plans on how we can incentivize. But Candler County as a whole, at the state level, we have the maximum amount for job tax credits
Right.
when you create over 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And because we belong to a regional authority, you get an extra $500 on top of that for your job
Oh,
tax credits here.
oh yeah.
And we also have the Georgia Grown Innovation Incubator, where we can house small business. And I don't know if anybody on here does not know what an incubator is, but it's a pretty cool facility. It's a brand new. It's powered by Georgia Grown, and we are an ag community here with lots of row cropping, lots of ag products, and Georgia Southern University is a great partner in that, and the city of Metter runs that, and it's a great spot for small business. If you need an office for low cost and have meetings, and they can connect you, I can connect you. So we have great resources here in our community, and really we can tailor ourselves for a program for any kind of business.
Well, don't sell it too sweet, Hannah. You giving them too much. You giving them too much. I just wanted you to give them just enough. Now you trying to get everybody to come to Meta. Meta is full right now, so don't nobody try to come.
No, it's not. We got plenty of land, lots of good land. It's ready to go.
All right. So for our viewers that's watching, I want to tell a few more people, hey, that I seen come in. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put it over in the chat, and I will answer them. Hopefully we get your answer at the end of the show. So I seen Anitra McCall come in with Supreme Transportation. Hi, Anitra. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And then I also seen Siva Brown come in with CK Logistics out of Chicago. Girl up there with all that snow. Thank you so much for joining us. I see Rami Bahrain. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much. And then I see Miss Yolanda Lawson. Thank you so much, Yolanda, for joining. I appreciate all of the support and love. All right, Hannah. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
I hope you're ready for it. Okay, this is going to be a one-off. I don't watch football, but I just want to throw a teaser out there to see if you do.
Okay.
So in your honest opinion, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Okay, so here's my spiel. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Come on with it.
Okay.
All right.
Georgia is the #1 state to do business for the 8th year in a row. Okay.
All right.
However, while we are awesome at business, I can tell you for a fact who is not going to win the Super Bowl.
Who is that? Because I can say
the Falcons.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Do you even know who's playing in the Super Bowl? You don't?
No. I'm sure Tom Brady's in there somewhere.
Girl, no, he's not.
They got knocked out, didn't they?
No, when I ask you that question, I literally Googled to find out who's playing the Super Bowl. So I read per Google, it's the Chargers and the Rams. So who's your team out of that?
I'm going to go with the Chargers.
The Chargers? Girl, I don't even know who play on the Chargers. That's
I used to keep up with it, but I've been so busy. I don't know. I know that the Falcons are terrible, so that's what I do know. I mean,
I've been so heartbroken since about 4 years ago with the Falcons. I've just never recovered with football, and I just kind of left everything where it was.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna throw it up there and hope that maybe the best man wins. We'll say that. I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl show.
I'll watch it. I will watch it. And the halftime show looks great. It's basketball season, it's college basketball season, Hope. So that's where we watch our sports right now. Go Zags.
Okay. Well, Hannah, I want to thank you so much for coming on today and being my tester, if you will. I want to say test dummy, but my tester for the very first show. I wanted to publicly thank you and appreciate you for all of your support of HD White Logistics and continually helping us grow. And then all of the work that you do here in the community of Candler County, it does not go unnoticed. I just want to publicly thank you for that. Can you tell everyone how they can find you if they're interested in reaching out and getting more information about doing business with Candler County or learning more about economic development?
Absolutely. Well, you can go to our website. It's www.selectcandler.com. And you can always call me too. My number's 912-685-4950. That's my office, but it goes straight to my cell. I don't even have an office phone anymore. So I'm pretty easy to reach most days. So we appreciate you being here. Thank you for having me today. It's nice to see all of you on here, and I appreciate the support for Hope and for me. And we love having her in the community. She's done great things here, very involved, and so we're going to keep growing. Right?
We're going to keep going.
Everything. Logistics are better and better, right?
Yeah, logistics are better. No, don't tell everybody that. But I know you're economic development, so you want to bring more people in.
Yes.
HD White Logistics is better and better. Thank you so much, Hannah, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, everyone. So we just spoke with Ms. Hannah Mullins of Candler County Industrial Authority. If you're just not joining with us, thank you for tuning in. I see I got quite a few people over here in the chat, and I want to see. I see this comment from Mr. Chris Purdue says the Chargers didn't even make the playoffs. Well, look, Google told me it did. So tell me who made the Super Bowl, because I don't know. I don't know. And then I also want to speak to Tamisha. Hi, Tamisha. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate your support. And thank you again for joining No Bullshipping with Hope White. Hope White. All right. So if no one has any questions, we're coming to the final few minutes of the show. And I want to talk about the impact of global supply chain right now, the bottlenecking, and what you can do as a small business owner to kind of help some of our customers assist with the impact. So as many of you all know, I do educate and train with Logistically Speaking online. And we also do Drayage 101 courses. And what we talk about mostly is getting these containers out of the port as quickly as we possibly can, and then getting them to our customers so that the freight is consistently moving throughout the supply chain. If you're a small business owner coming into supply chain, some of the things that you can do to help your customers out is be very timely and communicate as quickly as you possibly can. These things, although they're very small, as a small business owner, don't seem like much, but they actually do help speed up the process in communication. If you're in the port, you're carrying, you're doing drays, and you got some containers that's holding in the port, or if you gotten them out and they're holding at your yard and you're not communicating with your customers timely to get that freight in. As a logistics provider myself, I know it's very important that we communicate as quickly as we possibly can to get that freight moving in supply chain, because I don't want to keep going in the grocery store and it's not even in the potatoes in the freezer section, because I can't be cutting up no potatoes to make no French fries. I just ain't gonna be able to do that. So I just wanted to give that little educational tip there with communication and talking to your customers as quickly as you possibly can to keep that freight moving. I see that we do have a few more comments over in the chat, so let me address those. Chris says there are still 4 teams alive for the Super Bowl: Bengals, Chiefs, AFC side, Rams, 49ers, and the NFC side. Okay, Chris, well, thank you so much for educating me, because again, I told you I don't watch football. I stopped after the Falcons. It hurt my feelings tremendously. Okay, and then we have a question. All right, Rebecca Finneman says, what's the most impactful info that you need that you don't have? I think the most impactful information for myself in logistics, in supply chain, helping most supply chain manufacturers, distributors, is understanding just how much volume they have before we are assigned to certain lanes, and then understanding the time of which that freight needs to flow. I think a lot of times myself, as a dray provider, we're often committed to work thinking we have a certain amount of time, and then customers escalate on us at the last minute. So I think if we had a better understanding of just how timely, or the timeline by which, we had more customers that had more appointment based loads, or a schedule, we would probably have a lot better flow with some of the processes that we do as well. The other thing I think we need to understand is just the cost all the way around of how it affects our customers. Sometimes as a dray provider, we are very limited to the costs and effects down the line. And so if we understood the urgency from a cost perspective, then we would probably do things a little differently than what we're doing. I think that's probably the best way for me to answer that. And then lastly, I think Chris put it over here in the chat, communication. If we could have better communication all around, throughout the supply chain, as far as our customers being connected, with the dray providers, the middle persons, the custom brokers, and then of course the end consumer, everybody having a fluid communication about the product movement, I think we'll do better as well. So, do I have any other questions? I have enjoyed today. Today has been awesome. I'm really excited about future shows to come. We have some really nice guests lined up going forward that support supply chain throughout many different avenues. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also, being that I'm an instructor, I'm going to bring some of my students on and give them an opportunity to talk about where they are in supply chain. A lot of them are doing warehousing, cross-docking, and transloading, which is really big as well right now. So I'm really excited about that. Byram says, what is your advice for the move from industry into supply chain? What is your advices for the move from industry into supply chain? I'm not for sure if I understand that question. Can you rephrase that for me again? Maybe I missed that one. Can you rephrase it for me? I'm gonna see what Rebecca has a comment. She says, thanks. Sounds like you're getting phone calls and emails. Are vessel schedule changes hitting you too? Would it help if the info was pushed to you? Absolutely. So we do a lot on the import side with HD Dredge, as well as export side. And what we have been experiencing is not necessarily just the vessel changes, but the inaccurate communication of the expectation of getting, loads delivered timely. Customers will tell you one thing once it comes out, and then before it gets out, and then once it's actually out, they need that load escalated, which can affect our delivery schedules with the amount of carriers that we have. On the export side, we absolutely have been impacted by bookings getting pushed, which means essentially we plan to take a container back in certain time, and then it's not available to do. And that's due to several different reasons. That's not necessarily on the customer per se. That is actually on just the amount of capacity that's going on in supply chain right now. The terminals are overrun with containers, whether they're empty or loaded, waiting on vessels, as well as just overbooked ships. And so I think that's just a conglomerate of different reasons. But yes, we have been experiencing those challenges as well. Is it about changing career from manufacturing to supply chain? No. I think it's more about moving to support manufacturing and supply chain, and that is the additional services that are offered, like warehousing, which needs to have, we're going to have a deep dive conversation about that on one of the shows, but just moving to other value added services that support supply chain, not necessarily canceling a certain industry, but moving to different services. Yeah, ERDs, absolutely, ERDs. All right, so I've given you guys my Super Bowl pick, which I was wrong per Chris. My pick is the Atlanta Falcons. Get it together. Can we talk about the Falcons? All right. But thank you so much for joining me today. This has been a wonderful show. It looks like I'll be here for a good little while. You can join us every fourth Friday on this link here at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for No Bullshipping with Hope White. I want to thank everyone for their time. Please follow us, like, and subscribe to get more updates about the show and who our guests are going to be. Okay. If you have any questions or concerns, or you want to know how to follow me, you can follow me on IG at HD White Logistics, or you can find us for drayage services at www.hdwhitelogistics.com. All right. So, y'all have a wonderful day and be safe out there, everyone. Thank you.